Good evening. Hope everybody's doing all right. Before we get going, I have a couple of things that I need to take care of. Firstly, we've had a friend of the show for quite some time now. Wow, just almost as long as we've been on YouTube. He joined up back when the whole Malheur Wildlife Refuge thing was going on with Ammon Bundy and Company. And he asked me if maybe I could give him a little bit of hand achieving a goal, and I would like to do my best. So Steve Engel is who I'm referring to, and he is trying to get accepted on his Amazon affiliate program. And for those that haven't participated in stuff like that, they've got little milestones like that you have to reach before a certain period of time. Well, I think they give you like a year, and in a year you got to have like 3 sales. And if you have those 3 sales, then you're good. You're in the Amazon affiliate program. Well, at this particular moment in time, Mr. Engel is setting at a big goose egg. He's got 0 orders. So I'm asking a favor, and that is, if you don't mind, in the description of this video, and if I remember to be in the first comment as well, I will put Steve's Amazon affiliate link. And I know some of you are still ordering stuff for Christmas, so if you don't mind, could you please click that link before you order from Amazon, if that's where you choose to shop, and help a brother out. I surely would appreciate it. I know Steve would appreciate it, and he's a good guy. Help this man out. He's just got to make 3 sales. 3 sales. I think that I might be able to give him one in a couple of days myself. He's got a week. I probably ought to include that. He's got 1 week. That's it. He's got 1 week left to get 3 sales. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be good for one of them, but he's going to need a couple of more. So please, again, in the description or in the first comment will be the Amazon affiliate link for Steve. So you don't mind, if you're going to be shopping on Amazon anyway, it doesn't cost you anything more or anything like that. Just click that link when you go to Amazon, and then all you got to do is just go about your way on Amazon. What it does is it's got an ID number on that link. That link is an ID number, and when you click it, Amazon will register it that, okay, that's Steve's link. So this sale, we will give him a portion of commission for making a sale. So actually a pretty cool system. It's very accurate, and I've been using it for a while. It's actually a pretty good program. So anyway, I would highly appreciate it if you could help Steve make that milestone. Secondly, a question was asked some time ago, and I told the gentleman to make sure to remind me that I need to give you an answer. I wanted to give it some time. I wanted to pray on it. I wanted to think about it, and I wanted to give it a little bit of time to see maybe if the Father had some more insight on it. I know a little bit, but some of it I'm not real comfortable to share publicly. So let me get to the question, and I'll kind of go from there after a sip of coffee. So I talked about an article involving these baby factories, if you will. Essentially, one second. Essentially, what it is supposedly they would take the egg from a female and the sperm from a male, and more or less that the egg would be artificially inseminated. And then the baby would grow up in this pod, right? And so I did an article on it. I guess it's been about a week or maybe even 2 weeks ago. And a gentleman that goes by Aaron the Fixer Dad had asked me if I thought that those babies would have souls. That's a hell of a good question. There are some things that I am aware of involving this. Some of it I'm not going to say publicly, and I'll just reach out to Aaron if you want to know the depth of the answer. I would be more than happy to provide my phone number to you. We could have that conversation. But here publicly, I will say this. It is completely up to the Father in which vessels, if you will, get souls, and which souls that those quote-unquote vessels get. So, kind of the long and short of it, when you're asking about whether or not those babies that are being raised in these pods would have souls, I know it's going to sound extremely generic when I say this, but it's up to the Father's will. I really don't know any deeper of an answer than that. It's a very good question. I did take it to the Father in prayer. I can't say that I got like a definitive answer on it whatsoever, but there is more that I know on this subject that, there's a lot of people that think it comes down to, they think it comes down to bloodlines, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't come down to certain descendants of, the royal family, or, the long-lost nephew of Henry Kissinger. No, it's not like that. As far as quote-unquote God's children, and I understand, yes, everyone is God's children, but God also has his chosen children, which are a different group. And I will say that there is a difference. It has nothing to do with who's blood related to who, and it has everything to do with God's choice of which soul goes in which body. There is a way to know, but that I'm not going to share publicly. Again, Aaron, if you want to know the answer to that, I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you one-on-one. But I'm absolutely not comfortable to discuss it here in an open forum. So anyway, trying to think if there's anything more than that. The heater's humming away. So we started to, our bathroom is like the coolest room in the house. And in fact, you can go back to the bathroom and then come back in the living room, and whoever's sitting in the living room, meaning the opposite person that went to the bathroom, is going to get one hell of a cold draft hit them momentarily after you get back in here. Literally, when we come out of the bathroom, we drag the cold air with us, and you can feel it. So that's the coldest room. And one night, as I got up to use the bathroom and was going back to bed, I could feel, it was kind of a windy night, I could feel the draft going through the bathroom door. And I thought, we don't have a real drafty place. This place is pretty tight. And so I thought, we need to start shutting that bathroom door, put a sheet down there, blanket down there at the bottom of the door. And so we have the last couple of nights. And I'll tell you what, it's making a difference. It's making a huge difference. The heater right now, and it's 33 degrees outside, it says on the computer here. My heater is set at 1.7 hertz. It can only go 0.1 further down. It's almost the absolute lowest it can go. I don't know about Jen, but I'm a little toasty sitting here. And it's 30, and that's all I did. That's all I did was close the bathroom door, throw a sheet down there at the bottom of the door like a draft stopper, and it made that much of an incredible difference in here. I love being able to conserve. And it's not a green, I want to go hug a tree and, all that crap. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just a cheap bastard. I mean, I can't really explain it anything more than that. I just like to save money. If I can save money, I'll do it. Especially if it means that I get to learn something new and I get to make something myself. Then that's even extra bonuses. So anyway, that pretty well covers everything I had up front. I do got some headlines, some tabs open here. Let me have a sip of coffee. All right. Mass extinction projections revealed. Oh, you guys might want to see it. See? Okay, good. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, mass extinction projections revealed. I hope you're ready for this. And I damn well hope that you all brought your waders, because it's going to get deep. Pollution, climate change, and depleting resources could drive up to 27% of the world's animal life to extinction, a new paper has claimed. The new study used a supercomputer to map out how interdependent food chains could collapse in the coming decades. Or they're wargaming it on us. That's probably more the likely answer. You did put your boots on, right? Okay, good. Published on Friday and authored by European Commission scientist Giovanni Strona and Professor Corey Bradshaw of Flinders University in Australia. Well, that's a clue. The study presented a series of increasingly, and I'm joking by the way, increasingly grim scenarios. The researchers claim that the magnitude of the coming extinctions will depend largely on how much carbon mankind emits over the coming century. Oh. So pole shift is not going to play into this at all. It's just how much cows fart. Okay, gotcha. A best case scenario would see ecosystems lose 6% of their vertebrate species, I can't speak, by 2050 and 13% by 2100, they claimed. While a worst case outcome would see 10.8% of vertebrates wiped out by 2050 and 27% eliminated by 2100. Future's looking bright. The scientists reached this figure by creating a virtual Earth populated by more than 15,000 food webs, complex relationships of plants, pollinators, predators, prey, and parasites. Wow, that's awesome. I wonder if they worked hard at making sure all of those were peas. Cute. With these species dependent on each other for food, the loss of one could lead to the collapse of an entire ecosystem. Aww. A supercomputer scaled up these relationships to a global level, filled in missing data with fictional species, and simulated the effects of climate change on this virtual world. Wow. The computer also accounted for the impact of overexploitation of resources, changes in land use, and migration of species. I don't know. Did your computer by chance tell you anything about the time periods between 2040 and 2045? Maybe 2050? Really? Well, I'm going to say that most likely by the time 2050 rolls around that over 90% of what's on the earth is going to be wiped out. But hey, it's the cow Spartan. The cow Spartan. Sure. So this was kind of cool. Trying to stay balanced here. Bipolar news, if you will. Over 100 animals found carved in Peruvian desert. I wonder if these are the animals we're supposed to save. Put them in an ark. Is a spider? Because, no, spiders don't bother me. When I did pest control, I seen brown recluse all day, every day. It was a non-issue. Brown recluse, well, they are what they sound like. They're recluses. They don't like to be around people. They don't like to be seen. They don't build webs. So if you ever hear anybody say, "Oh, there was a huge brown recluse in that web," they're a damn liar, because brown recluse don't spin webs. Anyway, they like to stay in places that are absolutely not bothered, and one of those places are bait boxes for mouse poison, because the only time they ever got touched was when I came around once a month and spent about 5 seconds looking in the box, and maybe another 10 seconds if I had to refill it. So, but I see them all day long, every day. They were right by my hands, right by my fingers. Don't get me wrong, I didn't poke at them and antagonize them or anything like that. But, it was just one of those workplace things. I never got bit. The time I worked there, nobody else had ever gotten bit in the time I worked there. I don't think it's really that big of an issue. I think where people get bit by spiders, and I know we're way off subject here, I think where people get bit by spiders is like putting on a shoe and not knowing there's one in the shoe, or a sock, or, that shirt that's been in the closet and not bothered for a long time. Yep, there could be a brown recluse in there. So, anyway, let me continue with this, which has nothing to do with spiders other than the damn picture. So, squirrel! Peruvian and Japanese archaeologists have discovered 168 new designs carved into Peru's Nazca Plain and its surroundings after photographing the site with drones for 2 years. Unlike the more abstract Nazca lines, which are only visible from the air, the newly discovered glyphs can be seen from the ground, lead researcher Masato Sakai of Yamagata University told Reuters on Monday. The carvings, located about 250 miles south of Lima on Peru's coast, depict humans, cats, snakes, whales, birds, llamas, alpacas, and other creatures, and date back more than 2,000 years, according to the researchers. The newfound images measure about 2 to 6 meters in length, while the previously discovered lines extend as long as 30 miles. Since 2004, researchers have found 190 figures in the area, and more are believed to be awaiting discovery. The new depictions will be used in artificial intelligence-based surveys to help preserve as-yet undiscovered carvings, which are in danger of destruction due to the recent expansion of mining-related workshops in the archaeological park, according to Sakai. The lines were created by removing several layers of dark-colored rocks to leave the light-colored sand underneath, and the lack of precipitation and wind in the intervening centuries have left the resulting designs largely intact. Archaeologists have been unable to agree on the purpose of the designs. Some believe they were used in religious rituals, while others think they served an astronomical purpose. I don't know. Let us know what you think. Do you think, do you think it's religious, or do you think it's Uranus? I don't know. I don't have a clue. Oh, not that astrological sign? Oh, okay. I get it. Let's see. Yeah, I know I suck at jokes, but it is what it is. Now you know why I missed out on comedy night at the Improv. Although, I'd have probably been a little better than some of them I've seen on there. Oh, Blue huffs, so. She's always huffing me, though. Okay. This is stuff that we might want to pay attention to because these are kind of crossing red lines that Russia said not to cross. So, U.S.-made missiles destroyed over western Russia, says Moscow. 4 U.S.-made AGM-88 HARM aircraft-fired anti-radar missiles have been shot down over Russia's Belgorod region, which shares a border with Ukraine, the Russian Defense Ministry reported on Monday. It added that Russian air defenses in the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics and the Zaporozhye region also intercepted 6 rockets fired by U.S.-made HIMARS launchers and Soviet-designed Uragan systems. The news came after Ukrainian troops shelled the city of Belgorod and other areas in the eponymous, I've never heard of that, eponymous region on Sunday, killing 1 person and injuring 10 others, according to Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov. And I know I got that way wrong. He wrote on his Telegram channel that 75 residential and industrial buildings were damaged, as well as around 40 cars. Gladkov said that the shelling continued on Monday, leaving around 14,000 residents in the city of Shebekino without power. He added that 2 more people were wounded overnight. Belgorod and other Russian regions that share a border with Ukraine have repeatedly come under attack after Moscow launched a military operation in the neighboring state in late February. Several U.S. news organizations reported last week that the Pentagon was finalizing plans to supply Kiev with MIM-104 Patriot air defense missile systems. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov responded by saying that, if delivered, the systems would be treated as legitimate targets for Russian troops. And I think that we're going to find that to be a reality very quickly. I really do. I think Putin's about to ramp things up a few notches. I think the U.S. knows it. I think that's why the U.S. put troops in Poland. Because I think it's about to get really real. Belarus deploys new weapons. Now remember, like I just said, United States / NATO is pumping troops into Poland. They are pumping equipment in there, all kinds of equipment in there. And I know that there's been some talk about, well, that takes time to train. It's going to take time to train these systems to these people. I really don't think that's the intent. I think that U.S. is using this as an excuse to deploy the equipment, to get the equipment there. I think it's absolutely going to be operated by U.S. soldiers. So, we'll see. However, this is on the other side of things. This is Russia arming Belarus. Minsk is now armed with Iskander ballistic missiles and protected by S-400 air defense systems, President Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus announced on Monday, thanking his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin for delivering the new weapons as Moscow previously promised. Now, I just want to make a note that these are the S-400 systems. Russia has S-500 and S-550 systems that to my knowledge, they haven't given a single one of those to another nation, and I don't really expect they're going to. Even the S-400 system is definitely something to be contended with. It's a pretty serious system. Today we have deployed the S-400 systems, and most importantly, the iScander system that you handed over to us as you promised 6 months ago, Lukashenko told Putin at a joint press conference in Minsk. Hey there, Leo. Putin, as well as Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, arrived in Belarus on Monday for a series of talks with their counterparts regarding economic, military, and energy cooperation. At their press appearance, the Russian president revealed that the two countries already established an integrated air defense and warning system of which S-400 batteries are a crucial element. Pilots from Belarus will soon receive training in using special weapons and special ammunition, Putin revealed, and Lukashenko confirmed. Now, might want to pay attention. I might say that we prepared the planes. As it turned out, we had such planes since the Soviet times. We've tested them in the Russian Federation. Together with the Russians, we now train crews that can pilot planes that can carry these special payloads, Lukashenko said. While neither president used the word nuclear, Putin had pointed out that the NATO introduced the practice decades ago. This was most likely a reference to the U.S. policy of nuclear sharing, deploying a number of bombs in several NATO countries who do not have atomic weapons of their own, but operate the so-called dual-capable aircraft. Polish officials voiced a willingness to join that program in October, prompting Lukashenko to accuse Warsaw of threatening neighboring Belarus. The U.S. State Department responded to Putin's visit to Minsk by accusing Belarus of ceding its independence to Russia. Belarus is aiding and abetting Russia in the brutal war in Ukraine, State Department spokesman Ned Price told reporters. Washington and its allies have already imposed sanctions on Belarus over the conflict in Ukraine. Asked if there were any specific red lines that would make the U.S. consider Belarus a party to the conflict, Price said the U.S. will continue to watch very closely what Minsk does and look for additional means to hold the Lukashenko regime accountable without naming any particulars. Earlier, Price had pointed out that the U.S. has spent over $20 billion on aid to Ukraine since Joe Biden was sworn in as president in January 2021 and will continue to funnel money, arms, and ammunition to Kiev on your dime. Don't you love it? Fun times. Let's see. Right on, Survive Anything. Right on. Sorry, I'm just reading up there. It takes me a little bit to read the chat because it's like real tiny. Well, for me to see it at that distance. Oh, man. Let's see. Yeah, definitely, man. You need a flight stick, Leo, and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And we need to go flying, man. Need to go flying. I went flying for a little bit earlier. There was a few airports that I installed. They were bush flying type of airports. And holy cow. I got down at the first one. The second one, I got down, but I couldn't get stopped before I ran off the side of the cliff. And that was my first attempt landing there, and I didn't try again. So, man, some good, tough landing spots that I like doing stuff like that. Let's see. North Korea claimed to have conducted a test of space reconnaissance equipment during a missile launch on Sunday. State media published what is purported to be images of the adjacent South Korean cities of Seoul and Incheon made during the test. The space launch was conducted by the National Aerospace Development Administration, or NADA, from the Sohae Satellite Launching Ground, and was an important final stage test for the North Korean spy satellite program, the Korean Central News Agency said in a statement on Monday. The test confirmed the reliability of the onboard equipment in the optimum environment simulating space environment, after it was launched to the altitude of 500 kilometers. A spokesman for the North Korean Space Agency explained the gear included a panoramic camera with 20 meter resolution, I believe that is, 2 multispectral cameras, a video transmitter, and other pieces of technology, he added. The trial was described as the final gateway. It's the final gateway. Oh, anyway, no, it's countdown, I know. And I can't sing. Before a reconnaissance satellite is, launched into orbit, which NADA claimed may happen as soon as next April. The KCNA also released black and white photos that were presumably taken during the test. South Korean media outlets said they appeared to show the part of Seoul where Presidential Palace is located and the port in Incheon. On Sunday, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff reported detecting 2 launches of medium-range ballistic missiles from the North Korean facility. They flew at steep trajectories and peaked at some 500 kilometers, the military said. Some commenters suggested that the main goal of the launches was to test rocket technology, contrary to what Pyongyang stated. And it just goes into what they've done this past year. Anyway, something we don't want to take our eyes off of. Certainly isn't something that we want to ignore. Remember, there are 3 countries on this planet that have successfully, let me repeat that, successfully tested hypersonic missiles. 3 countries. United States isn't one of them. China, Russia, and North Korea. So, I would say it's relevant. Let's see. Also, something else to keep an eye on. Anytime I hear anything about Damascus, my, eyebrows perk up, you know? Syria reports new Israeli missile attack. Multiple missiles have targeted the vicinity of the Syrian capital, the state news agency SANA said on Tuesday, blaming the Israeli military. A volley of missiles was fired from the occupied Golan Heights, SANA reported, citing a military source. The attack happened at 12:30 a.m. local time. Though Syrian air defenses were activated, the attack caused some material damage and injured 2 Syrian soldiers, the agency added. Unconfirmed reports from the ground spoke of explosions at the Damascus International Airport and the nearby town of Sayyida Zainab and south of Damascus proper. I can't pronounce these names. While the Israeli government has not commented on the missile strike, residents of Galilee posted videos on social media in which fighter jets could be heard flying overhead around the time of the attack. Tuesday's strike is the first major missile attack since the mid-November bombing of the Shayrat military airport near Homs, when at least 2 soldiers were killed. The base was rumored to have been used by Iranian forces, which are helping Damascus fight against various jihadist groups as well as Islamic State terrorists. You know, IS or ISIS or USIS or CIASIS. I'll get it out. Yeah, those guys. Citing a preemptive right to self-defense against Iran, Israel has carried out hundreds of bomb and missile strikes against Syria since 2011. They are rarely acknowledged by the Israel Defense Forces, in line with their long-standing policy of not discussing operations outside the country. Syria has protested the strikes as a violation of its sovereignty to no avail. And it's only a matter of time. In my opinion, I think it's only a matter of time. And I think that's how Damascus is going to get taken out. I don't know who's going to launch what, but I have a feeling that someone's going to launch something, and it's going to make it to its intended target somewhere in Israel, and then Israel will demolish Damascus, and I'm pretty sure that's how that's going to go down. We'll see. I'm not looking forward to that day. But something to keep an eye on. Anytime that pops up in the news, that kind of makes my hair stand on end. Oh, man. Fun. Let's see. Let me have a couple of vapes before we get going. I'm actually running pretty quick tonight. Oh, man. Our tree out front was nicely groomed today. The city is very particular about their trees, and especially about their trees not falling on their power lines. And so there's a couple of guys that go around all year long, as far as I know, and they just, keeping a lookout for trees with dead limbs and stuff like that that's over the power lines, and the city takes care of trimming those. So they made it to ours today. So anyway, that was interesting for Blue to bark at. Let's see. All right. Iran mulling joint car production with Russia, says ambassador. I wonder if the cars are gonna, if they're gonna come optional with explosives or not. Maybe. Depends who's buying it, whose name's on the order. Okay. Let's see. Global recession risks rising, says economist. Musk asked Twitter users to decide his fate, and they decided to kick him the hell out. I don't know. He says he's going to abide by it, so I don't know what he's got up his sleeve. Multiple injuries as plane hit by severe turbulence. Heard that aircraft has been actually grounded until it receives a full inspection, because it did indeed hit some pretty serious turbulence. Released files reveal how FBI grilled Twitter. Iran accuses U.S. of propaganda war. Probably accurate. New York Times roasted over swastika-like puzzle. Oil rebounds as China pledges to revive consumption. Qatar warns EU of consequences amid graft probe. French energy crisis deepens, says Bloomberg. Fire destroys EU compound in African capital. Suspected Russian spy discovered in Vienna, says officials. Let's see. NATO member urges civilians to undergo military training. A Norwegian filmmaker faces prison for stating men cannot be lesbians. Wow. Top MEP warns of huge challenge to the EU. Hungary rejects EU gas price cap. Twitter users rule on Musk's fate. And like I said, they tell him to go get lost. Putin approves reproductive tourism ban. U.S. made... Oh, I covered that. Russia's parallel imports soar, says customs data. Covered that. EU gas prices drop as debate on cap continues. Swedish court blocks Turkish extradition request. EU agrees on gas price cap, says Czech Republic. Putin outlines priority in relations with key ally. UK court rules on moving migrants to Rwanda. Vatican defrocks priest after bizarre anti-abortion stunt. EU gas price cap unacceptable, says the Kremlin. Canada set to seize Abramovich's assets. EU nation apologizes for crime against humanity. Taliban prisoners overpower compound guards. Russia responds to potential Greek arms supplies to Ukraine. UN chief weighs in on Security Council expansion. January 6 committee recommends charges for Trump. Crimea has water reserves for 1.5 years, says the regional head. Russia to ramp up military cooperation with major ally. Let's see. Sanctions against Russia boomeranged, says Lukashenko. FBI must be abolished, says former U.S. presidential candidate. That would be Ron Paul, by the way. A Fortnite game maker fined $500 million. Ukrainians detained with 12 kilograms of gold under their clothes, says the media. Moscow does not plan on swallowing anyone, says Putin. That almost sounded suggestive. I don't know. Syria reports new Israeli missile... Oh, I covered that. Top Ukrainian general wants to punish deserters. I did see somebody put that headline out. I don't know if I got that one or not. I will. It'll be in tomorrow's if it's not in tonight's. It's about Weinstein being found guilty. Maybe in here. Newly elected congressman invented his past, says the media. Yeah, some Republican, I think it's New York if I'm not mistaken, apparently lied about his entire history from what I understand. And congratulations, that's who won the vote. Good job. Voting did a real good job there. Ukrainian shelling hits hospital in Donetsk. Let's see. Covered that. Oh, that is it. That is it. Oh, goodness. Howdy, Steve. Oh, man. I hear you. I'll tell you what. If I could take a nap every day, I think I would. But I don't often get a chance. Once in a while I do. Then I get woke up by fire trucks and Santa Claus hanging off the side of it. But that was cool. Anyway, I am gonna boogie on out of here, and I'm ready to get to bed now. I'm tired. I'm always tired anymore. That's what sucks. Anyway, I am gonna get off of here, and God willing, we'll be back tomorrow with some more nonsense, and we'll talk to you then. So I appreciate everybody coming. Hope to see you tomorrow night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.